Alright, so something I want to demonstrate real quick was the end gap clearances for the piston rings. All my pistons are marked, so I know which one goes where in front of directions, so we know which direction we're going to be facing. I got this really nifty tool, but Harbor Freight helps me get the rings off. It's really easy to use. I don't know if I'm in the shot. Make sure that these lips right here catch the top of the rings, and you're going to put the ring gap in between this little line just like this, and it looks just like, whoop. Get on there. Twisting the ring a little bit. Twisting the piston. Just like that. Comes right off. Slowly decompress it. And there you go. And then there's a little bit of lubrication on the edges, which is fine. I've heard people say that the lubrication, no matter how minimal, may change your end gap clearance. I don't know how accurate that is, but a little gap is not going to be, a little oil is not going to hurt it that much. I just put the piston ring right in there. It's at the very top, and it's not square at all. So I'm going to take the piston and just slowly press it in there, shove it down, bam. Now the piston ring is square and it's level, so that's what the piston ring gap clearance is going to be like. Specs, I think for the top one is 0.21 and the bottom's 0.28, or that's backwards. 0.28 I think is the top. So you know what, we'll just start at 0.22, see where that goes. It doesn't matter what the spec is right now to measure it. I just got to measure it to see where they sit. Here's 0.22, and if you can get any. Oh, that's not going in at all. There's no way that's going to fit. That's not even close. Let me go down to 0.20. I don't know if you can see on here, there's like little marks. That's upside down. Let you know the size, 0.22, 0.55 millimeter. So we'll go to 0.20. I believe it's a half millimeter. It's hard to do this with one hand. Oh wait, I'm going the wrong way. .20. There's 0.20. It goes in a little tight. However, it's not moving the ring. Yes, it is. So 0.20 is too tight. So let's go down to 0.19. .7, 1.8, 1.9. Here's this way. 0.19, 0.48 millimeters, and it goes in there. It's actually a little loose. Yeah. Let me go put the piston in. It may have moved a little bit. Yeah, it's kind of loose, so I'm going to call it, yeah, it's real loose. I can go up and down real easy. So get my fingers out of the way, get the shot. It's in the crack right there. I'm just sliding it right into the groove, and I can get this to come up and down real easy in the groove, no issue. Barely any dragging. So I'm going to try 2.0 again, and I'm going to call it 0.20. Which, in any case, if it's supposed to be 0.21 or 0.28, that's still really small. I think factory spec is 0.19 or 0.17, and that's for OEM pistons and rings. Where's 0.020? Come on, stop hiding. Step out. Be brave. There it is. Alright, it's hard to do this with one hand. There's 0.20 if you can see that in any way. There's 0.20. Try it again. and I can get it in, but there is drag. So in between 0.19 and 0.20, that's still not the proper gap in any case. I'm going to also pause and do piston 4, and then we'll go from there. Alright, so here we go. We've got piston number 4. I'm using the same tool to get the piston ring out. Here's the gap. It's a real easy tool to use. I mean, very simple. Look at that. Look how easy that is. I'll push the ring right in there, right at the very top. And use piston 4 piston once again. Shove it down, make it even. It's going to catch on the second ring, and that's what's going to make it square. Again, it's piston 4. Much easier to get this one done because you can see what I'm doing, and I've got you mounted on the engine bracket. So let's see. Wow, that one's actually, you can visually see. I'm going to try to see if you can get this, but you can actually visually see that's much tighter than piston 1 was. So let's see what that is. I mean, whew. Let's go. You know what? I'm going to start off with 1. So it's 17. Nope. 17 will not get in there. 17. Dropping down to 16. What, 17? 16. That was 25. What? Here's 15. Yeah, 15 caused it to move, so I'm let it come up a little bit. Screw it back up again. Try 14. Here's 14. Let's see if you read that on the camera. 14. Can you read it? Zoom, focus, whatever it is. That's 14. Put it right in there. Wow, 14 is pretty tight. I'm going to rotate this a little bit so you can actually see where I'm putting it. Again, these are slightly lubed, so they're not really scratching when I bring them in and out. Nice and square in there. Man, that's incredibly tight. Here's 13. 13 comes in and out really easy. So let's go back to 14. Causes drag. Slight drag, but there's drag there. And then just for the heck of it, let's try 15. Here's 15. And 15 will not go at all. Oh, wait, no, I'm not going to try to force it. 15 won't go, so it's 14. 14 causes slight drag, but still I can move it in and out very easy. I don't know if that's a good camera angle, so I'm going to try to move the camera a little bit. Maybe more over here. Whoops. Try to get. The problem is it causes the lighting to go away. So just push it right into the gap, and each it goes up and down. There's very little pressure, so it's 14 is what it's at. That is way too tight. 14. thousandths of an inch, I think it is, 14 thousandths. Incredibly tight, way more than spec calls for, and my best assumption is that these were all extremely tight. I'm going to check the other ones. I'm not going to take a video of it, but I'm going to check the other 4 and both top and lower piston rings, and then see what we get with those. But what I'm assuming is that all these were either not machined at all, and these 2 over here with the extreme tolerance that it was enduring damaged the ring somehow, which allows the gaps to move. In any case, these 2 were 100, 120 psi, 155, 155. This gap is way beyond spec, way too tight, and this one was a little bit on the loose side, but still held. I'm assuming if I were to continue to run the pressure and this gap clearance on this engine, these all would have went out. And it just happened that because number 1 cylinder is always going to get the first portion of the air, just from normal physics, where it tunnels down on the end, it's going to get the most air, and it usually suffers the most damage. But this is frustrating. It's discouraging. It's one of the reasons why I hardly ever let any shop touch my car, because I paid someone $8,000 and I get a junk engine and 120 miles, not 120,000, 120 miles. In addition, my HX40 turbo, it went out, and the reason that is, and I even got an email from Force Performance, this thing right here was full of debris. I mean, there was so much crap in it that it was ridiculous. When I unplugged this from the engine, I'm sorry, from the turbo side, and this side hung down by the power steering alternator, no oil came out of the tip of this. I unplugged it from this side. When I loosened this side out to take it off, oil just dumped out. And I've actually got pictures of how much debris was in there. I sent those pictures over to Force Performance, and Force Performance even said they've never seen that much debris in one of their filters. What Force Performance said is they believe that during the machining process you're supposed to wash all the crap out of it, and they didn't. So all that crap, which is still in the oil galleys, just all got stuck in the filter, and then starved my turbo out of oil. What they said was it was a rebuilt turbo, which I did buy it online, so there's no, I mean, I didn't get it from Wholeset's office, but most people are going to buy their turbos online from a turbo reseller. And I mean, the best I could tell, if you saw the pictures, it looked like a brand new turbo. Maybe it wasn't, who knows. But all I did was put the turbo, put the BEP 0.55 AR housing on it, and 120,000 miles, that turbo went out. Replaced it with my old 16G, and I haven't gotten it running since. So a year later, 120,000 miles, this car only lasted 4 days, and turbo went out. Put the new turbo in, wouldn't run right, checked the compression, and I had 155, 120, 100. I did a leak down test, and it was obvious that all the air was going past the seals. There was no bubbling coming in through the radiator fill-up neck. There was no noise coming from the intake side, no noise coming out of the exhaust. When you pop the oil cap, it just sounded like someone was beating snakes down there because it was just hissing so bad. But like I always prefer to do, I'm going to do it all myself. I've heard a lot of people dog me about doing it this way. They said just take it out of the engine, but the machine work actually on the deck looks pretty decent. And as long as I make sure that the piston and wall clearance is good, which I'm probably going to get everything mic'd, and go buy myself a dial bore gauge, then I'm going to do my own measurements, do my own math, and see if it's good. If everything adds up, then I'm just going to rehone these cylinders. I've got a whole brand new set of Manley piston rings, and everything else I need to put it back together, and hopefully it'll be done within a week.